Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning back into Dan Cabanach Photography. One of the things I want to talk about today is cell phones versus real cameras. I've had a few inquiries over the past few months, people asking, can they just use their cell phone to be a professional photographer? Is a cell phone good enough? Should I switch to a real camera? Are real cameras better, and these sorts of things. So first, let's talk about the cell phone. The cell phone is an awesome camera. They've come a long way. Here's the thing. The cell phone camera has created a massive population of photographers. Everybody's got a cell phone. Everybody with a cell phone is a photographer. Saw a stat just yesterday that 1.8 billion images are uploaded or shared on the internet every single day, and apparently they've got this figured out that that's only 6% of the actual photos taken are online, which, if you think about it, makes sense. We don't upload everything we take, whatever. But everybody has a cell phone, and everybody's a photographer. And of course, there's an entire industry wrapped around cell phone photography. There's groups and you name it. But the cell phone cameras have come a long way. The new iPhone 15, I guess it's got a 120 millimeter lens, and they're saying you can use it for sports and whatever. And with cell phones, you can get it's a great image quality, but you can get really decent sized prints out of it if you have a good image. Now, it is computational photography as opposed to more, I guess I'll use the word mechanical. The problem with the cell phone really is it's got a teeny little sensor. So all the amazing part of the image comes from the software that's in it. Where on the other hand, a regular full-size camera like this D850 here has a huge sensor in comparison, collects a ton of data, and then you can manipulate it with software in a computer, and you have a lot more options and capability there. But that said, most people with the cell phones and the cameras, that's all they need it for. They're not going to be professional photographers. They're perfectly happy with this, and it's designed for that purpose in mind. It's for social media, more or less. I think a professional photographer, they're not going to take their cell phone with them to go to a photo shoot. But can you be a pro with a cell phone? It depends on how you define pro. If you define being a professional as making money with your tool, then certainly there's lots of people making lots of money with just their cell phones, be it vlogging and creating videos and whatever with a YouTube channel, and even with photography. I have seen some incredibly talented people with amazing imaginations do incredible stuff with a cell phone. But is a professional photographer? No, not in my opinion, and there's reasons why. First of all, the cell phone is incredibly limited in what it can really do. It's getting better and better and will continue, but for instance, it's got the lenses, and the lenses are very limited as to what they can do. Your focal lengths are limited. You're limited on your ISO that you can choose. You're limited on your focal lengths. You're limited on your shutter speeds and things like that. To me, a professional photographer wants to be able to have control over all aspects of the image and the exposure. Now, today's mirrorless are more computerized than ever, and they, more or less, for a lot of people, they're nothing more than an expensive point and shoot camera because it does everything for you. But real photographers want the control over the camera so they can adapt it to any lighting situation that's there, or they can get creative with the lighting that's there and things like that. So a cell phone is not a professional camera simply for the fact It limits a photographer's ability to modify and to control the image and everything within it. So it'll so it's not a professional camera where you can control everything. That's the first thing. Does that mean you can't try to use it as a professional? You could. It's just, to me, not the right tool for the job. The other problem is everybody has a cell phone and everybody takes pictures with it. Well, if you're going to get hired to do somebody's portraits, for instance, you better not show up with a cell phone because they have a cell phone and their friends have cell phones, and why hire you to take their pictures with a cell phone when their friend can do it? And quite frankly, cell phone can do a fantastic job with portraits. With a cell phone, if you want good images, you really have to fill the frame, because as soon as you just try to zoom in and all that, you lose quality really quickly. But if you're zoomed in, but if you're filling the frame, it takes a perfectly good image and can probably be used as a headshot. Portraits, maybe a different story, because now you got some background. The software blurs the background, but the fake bokeh to me is weird, doesn't look right. At any rate, so if you want to become a professional photographer, then yes, I think you need to step up and get an actual DSLR or, of course, a mirrorless. You need to show up to your clients, to the gig with your clients, with professional gear and not a cell phone. You don't want to go to a wedding where 100 other people at the wedding are doing the same thing with their cell phones. You want to stand out and actually be able to be the pro with the pro gear. So that's that. But also, you got so many more options with a professional kit. It's really limitless. Whatever lens you need, it's out there. So that's really where it's at. And then, of course, the image sensors are huge, so you can manipulate pretty much anything you want if you get a good image in the camera in the software. So my advice is yes. If you want to become a professional photographer, as defined by being hired for your photography, then certainly you need to step up and get professional gear. Does that have to be expensive gear? No. It does not have to be expensive. The used market is massive and oversaturated with amazing cameras. I am a DSLR guy, for now at least, and you can get into a DSLR, a nice one, really inexpensively. A few $100s and you're in, and there's a myriad of lenses for whatever system you choose, be it a Canon or Nikon, whatever. So you can get in for a few $100, show up with a couple of lenses, and be a professional photographer. Now, you will have to practice. The other part of being a professional is taking good images. Take some time. There's a learning curve. The cell phone is the ultimate point and shoot. It does everything automatically for you. And quite frankly, as far as practicality, it's perfect. When I go out and with my family or my wife, or we're going on a trip or whatever, we're doing selfies, and even on vacation, this is the camera I take. I don't drag out all my big gear for that kind of a thing. This is awesome for that. So obviously it's incredibly practical and used a lot more than the other stuff. Kind of getting off base with that. So yeah, you can become a professional, get professional level gear really inexpensively, and you can get used DSLRs. I have a D7200 still. It's $400. It's a great camera, great all-around camera. You can pretty much do just about everything with it. And then there's a whole myriad of just tons of glass for it. If you want to spend a few bucks more, you can get into the professional level DSLRs. The D700 is awesome for portraits, my favorite. Now you start getting into the D850s and things, yeah, they're more pricey. Then you start thinking, well, maybe I should get used mirrorless. Here's the thing, my thinking on the mirrorless is it's a technology that's newer and is continually growing. And of course, it's gotten better and better. And the less expensive mirrorless cameras are crap. I mean, honestly, and the lenses aren't nearly as good. The cheap mirrorless gear is not that good, in my opinion. You need to get something better. I mean, when the day comes that I go mirrorless, it only makes sense to me to go top of the line. At the moment, I would look at like a Z9. But so I think if you want to get into this at a lower price point with a good quality camera, it's going to get you great images and get you started in the business, and get a used DSLR. You know, you go to KEH, and this is not sponsored by KEH, but it should be. Anyway, so yeah, so if you have any comments or suggestions or any other ideas, please feel free to put them down below. Yeah, so this will open up your creativity more than the cell phone. And I'm not putting down a cell phone anyway. Like I said, there's millions of people who have done incredibly cool things with the cell phone. What could those people do with a camera that really is limitless and doesn't have the limitations, again, as a cell phone? So that's it. That's my opinion. It's my advice that yes, if you want to upgrade your photography, upgrade your gear, get off the cell phone. Use the cell phone for, you know, capturing, you know, your moment, your memories at the time. But for real photography, for clients or for stuff you may want to print big, you need I think a real DSLR or a nice mirrorless. All right, guys. Till the next time, you know, what I always say, keep shooting. Please like, subscribe, and share. See you on the next one. Take care.